We could get 4 Assassin's Creed games launch in 2026. Yes, let's go over everything we know so far. I want to share my thoughts, but I want to start at the Animus Hub. Because in 2026, this feature will be expanded. Because the promise was it's starting with Shadows, but then when new games get released afterwards, they will all be added to the memory section right here. Then we can of course launch them from here, which is not very exciting, but I'm just curious what the Animus Hub will look like at the end of 2026. Will it still be kind of bare bones and just be a glorified Reda system? Or will we actually be like, whoa, all the games are more connected? So I was at a presentation for when the Animus Hub was revealed for the first time, and I wrote down things. And one of the things they said is that they want this to be a place where players get free rewards just for playing their favorite games. So yeah, games, which tells me that the features we now see for Shadows, so potential projects and maybe the exchange, will then be in Black Flag as well. Will we also have weekly anomaly missions that we can then do for keys or something like that we can then use in Shadows? Or can we play Shadows and get rewards in Black Flag? How is it going to work? I could totally be the only one who cares about this stuff. I really think that if you don't care about the Animus Hub, you probably will not care by the end of the year. But I wanna, like, I have hope. I still have a sliver of hope because we only have 1 game in the Animus Hub right now. We will get maybe 3 added this year. I really am curious what the Animus Hub looks like at the end of 2026. If it's just still what it is today, kind of unnecessary, or will it really feel like a sort of connected experience? So yeah, the first new game that will be added to the Animus Hub is the Assassin's Creed Black Flag Remake. Ubisoft already said that they planned an unannounced title for Q4 of their financial year, so that is January, February, March, and yeah, everything points to it being the remake of the 2013 Assassin's Creed, so that would be 12 years and a bit later. We also have the hidden one here, like the game of course got rated already, and they are also prepping a domain name, Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced. Creation date was in December last year. So yeah, it's happening. The rumored release week is the final week of March, according to Tom Henderson. And yeah, that would still be, like, that's the final week they can actually launch something in their current financial year. So let's quickly go over this amazing Twitter post from Severus. Totally give him a follow if you haven't already. Let's go over everything we know so far, but most of these are rumors, so we'll touch on it. So initially the code name was Obsidian. Yeah, it's Resynced. That will probably be the name for the future remakes for the Assassin's Creed series as well. It's led by Ubisoft Singapore. They of course did Skull and Bones, but before that already did naval content for Black Flag, Assassin's Creed 3, Origins. I think they worked on Valhalla as well. So yeah, the remake removes the modern day and replaces it with more content in Edward's pirate era, a few hours compared to the original. So that's gonna be exciting. I'm really curious if they will still have some modern day, but only in the Animus Hub. If it will be excited, will it be linked to Shadows? To be honest, I'm not really following what's happening in Shadows. I could not really care less. I do like the Animus sequences we sometimes have, or the rifts, in terms of gameplay, but in terms of story, I'm not really like checked in or anything. Maybe them adding Black Flag to it will change that. And now we get to some gameplay rumors. So the gameplay will shift closer to the RPG style of the newer AC games, loot and gear stats for Edward, inventory systems, combat leaning towards the RPG style rather than the choreographed combat of the original, and RPG aspects were planned to have a bigger role, but it has been reduced throughout development. So these are rumors, like we don't know if that is actually true, but I think that it's gonna be like Mirage. So right now in Black Flag, of course, you do have your upgrades, but you buy a new weapon, it has more speed, it has more damage or something like that. I think they're gonna add perks to these items so that the sword also has a different flavor, kind of like Mirage again as well. And that maybe instead of like upgrading your swords by getting different ones, you can upgrade the one you like with a perk on it, something like that. I would not be surprised if they go with that. Basically, make the progression deeper and expand it a bit. I think that would only benefit the game. I mean, I'm not sure if you played Black Flag recently, but playing that now and doing the combat, I really don't think the combat is that good. It's super easy. His finishers are amazing. I hope they keep those. But I'm totally thumbs up from me to get the RPG combat in this game. But yeah, again, I'm expecting the RPG style on the level of Mirage and not on like an Origins, like with damage numbers and anything. No, they don't need any of that. But I do think it would be cool to have like a deeper progression system. Then we have also here some rumors, no loading screens when moving between ship and land. That has been like reported on by multiple people, so I totally believe that. The map is not bigger, but islands will be filled with more activities and side content. Map is already big enough, so having more activities and side content is awesome. It's expected to include cut content from the original, like parts of Mary Reed's storyline that were dropped in 2013. Again, that's a rumor. We will see. It's not the same big budget remake level as Resident Evil 2 or Silent Hill 2, but more a faithful reimagination with updates. Again, it will still be like Resident Evil 2, Silent Hill 2, completely different games than the original. This will still feel like Black Flag, but hopefully better. I really hope they look at the parts where like, we could improve that, and then improve those things. And yeah, of course it's gonna look way better because it will use the new Anvil pipeline engine, same as Shadows. Like that should of course be the exciting thing moving forward. All the cool seasons, weather effects and all that sort of stuff that they introduce with Shadows, they should be able to use in future games as well. They're reusing some assets from Skull and Bones to cut cost, weather effects again similar to Shadows. And yeah, this basically talks about why it would be happening. So yeah, I think when will we see it? It's really hard to predict. They could do shadow drop. They could like have a very short cycle. They could announce it tomorrow. I'm of course gonna keep you posted here, and I will do some predictions regarding the Assassin's Creed like pipeline as well in a future video on JorRaptor. So totally subscribe, because if I would include them here as well, this would be a way too long video. So let's continue with more things we can expect from Assassin's Creed in 2026. Then let's move on to a free-to-play Assassin's Creed initiative that might launch in 2026. I say might because it was first planned for 2025. That did not happen, so it's now pushed to 2026. They talked about this officially once, but we've not heard about anything since then. So I'm still expecting it, maybe like a beta at least this year, and that's codename Invictus. It will be a Fall Guys-like game. Don't worry though, it won't look like this, but what they, for example, talk about here on Insider Gaming is that the game will feature a team deathmatch, free-for-all, and a speed game where you have to go to luminous points scattered on the map. As you move through the rounds, players will have the option to select different powers to create a build of sorts for use in the game. All of the gameplay will be very arcadey, with even elements like a bubble shield similar to Smash Bros. So I found this indie game, and I would not be surprised if it kind of looks like this. So you have these arenas, there are like 16 players or so, and then you do a round, and then the weakest player like falls off, and then yeah, you maybe in the end fight each other or something. I really struggle to see why you would even invest in this. This feels like when like all these companies are trying to do a mobile game and they're looking, okay, let's do an Uncharted Endless Runner. Like, okay, we put a brand and we add like a gameplay element that doesn't really fit this franchise, but maybe a bit, and let's just give it a go and we will. I don't think anyone, like, we want a real Assassin's Creed PvP game where you like fight each other, or we want like a co-op experience, right? So here, Insider Gaming also notes, Invictus is working title for an Assassin's Creed Fall Guys inspired game where players will compete in a match of 16 players. If Invictus aligned with internal expectations, there will be around a 5-year plan for support and updates. I don't see it like getting anywhere near that, but I would love to be wrong. I would love to be surprised. So I did some digging on LinkedIn, and we have Sabrina here, and she has been working on this game for 3 years and 10 months already at Ubisoft Montreal, and before this she was working on For Honor, and now she's a team lead. So again, we will at one point see Assassin's Creed Invictus. But a game that I'm way more curious about is number 3, Assassin's Creed Jade. It was playable in August 2023 in like an iPhone test, looked very far along, and then it disappeared. But we got, at the start of this year, the Discord for Jade that has been active ever since. We got like someone working on the game. Is the game ever coming out? They said yes. You all think it's gonna have multiplayer thing like Unity? We are planning to have co-op, yes. I mean, planning, we were playing this freaking co-op mode in the demo, or like the beta version. Yeah, you start the game where you meet Cassandra. She's in this game. For a mobile game, it looks pretty good. And then you have like a character creator. So yeah, we can make our own character in this game. It's gonna, like, I wanted Shadows to have the RPG elements that this game has. And I wanted them to go, okay, we're doing Odyssey 2, but this is what Jade is. See all the drops and all the gear and all the stuff, and it looks like Odyssey, but it's set in ancient China. They have the same assassination animations because we also have a sort of dagger. I don't think we have the broken spear of Leonidas, but hey, we use a dagger. We're using that for the assassinations, and I'm fine with that in this game. And yeah, it has like a lot of like weapon types, outfits, some returning. They even brought over like outfits from Odyssey as well. They got the legendary weapons. The freaking Hades Lieutenant outfit is in this game. And they have a ton of content. Like, this is sort of like arena where you're like in an Animus thing, like fight waves of enemies. We got like other mercenaries and co-op missions where you just like fight together. Basically what I always wanted from these RPG games. But of course, in 2026, we might see that in another game as well. More on that in a moment. But yeah, mythical creatures are here. Again, it's Odyssey 2 with multiplayer, but it is only on mobile and on PC probably, because there are ways to play these mobile games basically on PC. Will it come to console? I really think it's not gonna hurt them at all putting this on console, because it's still gonna be... I don't think we will ever see an Assassin's Creed RPG that will have RPG elements this deep, that will really go with the damage numbers and crazy like that. If Shadows was afraid to do it, talking to Simon, I really don't think that even Quebec, that made Odyssey, wants to go as crazy as they did in that game. So Jade is probably the only game that will have these RPG elements, if you like me, like those things. So putting Jade on console, making it a bigger release, I would love that. I'm not expecting it though. But yeah, it's really hard to predict the timeline for Jade and Invictus, because they will just keep working on those games and release them when they're ready. They're free to play, so they have to get the business model right. But I think, and we have like even rumors, the most recent one regarding Assassin's Creed Hexe, second half of 2026, according to Insider Gaming. I listened to this podcast from Tom Henderson, and yeah, he said it is currently still slated for the second half of 2026, and it will be a more linear game compared to the recent big RPGs. So yeah, let's look at more information about Hexe, again from Severus with the roundup. The lack of RPG elements mean there might no XP grind, no level system, no large skill trees. I mean, they could still do skill trees, but again, yeah, there will be no... It will be more like the traditional Assassin's Creed games. A linear structure also means the story will move faster without bloated elements that could feel boring. There might also be black box missions similar to those in Mirage. I think the black box, like, there are black box missions that we saw in Unity and Syndicate, and there are the black box missions in the RPG-like games. Even you could include Mirage. I mean, I hope so, but basically to me it sounds like, okay, there are missions where you have a target and you can reach them in multiple ways. That's a black box mission to me, and Valhalla tried that a bit with the Siege of Paris and did not really work. I think the Mirage black box missions, it still felt like there was just one way, or maybe one way and one side path to get to the targets. But I hope with like Hexe being way more linear, I really hope they go above and beyond with that, like you can replay the mission. Hopefully they have a replay mission feature, and you can really see, whoa, there are like 5-6 ways that are completely different. I think they can do that because it is more linear. They don't have to make a whole big open world. Because yeah, the map will not be fully open world. If you remember certain areas of the Awaji island map, there are specific paths you must follow to reach your destinations. Otherwise, there's no other way. So you won't be able to climb every mountain and building. Like, I would not be surprised if, and that is some of the comparisons we heard as well, like that it will be like God of War. So God of War, of course, has these very linear levels, but they also have maybe like 2018 had this sort of hub area. So you could have some, or like the Tomb Raider games, they also had like the linear paths, and then you would reach like in a more open area. I think it will be somewhere like that. I don't think it will be very like Uncharted linear, but I do think it will have those linear elements and then also some open zones where you can maybe explore a bit more. So I'm now shifting to an article from Insider Gaming with some extra rumors. These are old though, so things could have changed. Like, Hexe is poised to have a single female protagonist currently named Elsa. I mean, we know, especially from the Montreal games, that these names can change. I think Eivor was called Yorick or something. If you know, let me know in the comments down below. I tried to look it up, but I cannot really find it anymore. I think it was on a cereal box in Valhalla's modern day as well. So, while details on all her abilities are unclear, footage sent to Insider Gaming on the condition that it could not go public to show off one of these abilities. In the footage, Elsa is seemingly being hunted by 16th century German soldiers. Images of what the soldier looks like here. Okay, interesting. And uses a spell to possess a nearby cat. The player then controls the cat and uses it to distract the soldiers by knocking over a glass bottle, which messes on the ground, diverts the soldier's attention. The gameplay provided by Insider Gaming depicts a dark, glooming setting in the cobbled streets of the city. So that really tells me that we might not be a really capable character in this game, and that we have to use also magical abilities. Like, I have some predictions about this game. I'm really curious because I think Ubisoft has not, doesn't have to start talking soon, but I do think it would be good for them to, maybe in an investor call or something like that, get our expectations a bit more in check. Because I think people are really running with the idea of this game being more linear, being more traditional, and I'm hearing these abilities, I'm like, this is gonna be a really different type of game. And they've teased that as well, but it's, again, I think it would be nice of them to be, kind of set our expectations right. Be like, yo, this is gonna be a 15-hour linear, story-driven, new type of Assassin's Creed with things we've never done before. And then I think maybe people might be like, okay, it will not be like the older games. I think the remakes will be like the older games. We got the RPGs, the Shadows team is gonna make a new RPG, and then we have whatever Montreal is cooking up, and if Hexe is successful, they might do another spin, etc. But I think Hexe, I think we will see it at the Ubisoft Forward in June. I think they will be back this year. They have a lot to show. I talked about that in my React channel 2026 predictions video as well, that I will leave a link to in the pinned comment. So check that out. But yeah, I think 2026 will be huge. I think Black Flag and Hexe will launch. I'm not going to say no matter what. I can see Hexe being delayed, of course, because they don't want to be in November. Or if GTA gets delayed, there are rumors about that right now as well, then I can see them maybe push it to late November. But I do think they want to launch Hexe no matter what in 2026. And yeah, Black Flag, I totally believe will come out in that rumored March window. About Invictus, Jade, again, Ubisoft's mobile games, they take a super long time. They still are working on the Division and Rainbow Six mobile game. They should also launch now in early 2026, but anything can happen. They constantly are iterating on it because you only have one official launch, and you need to get the business model and the hooks right. And if you don't have them right, then you spend a ton of money on a game that will just fizzle out and make $0. So yeah, let me know what you think about Assassin's Creed in 2026. Again, I will do a predictions video as well, where I will be like, I think this will happen. And there will be some things that you might not really know, or might not really think about. So what is interesting about this all is that Shadows will still also have updates. So while we are maybe playing 4 new Assassin's Creed games in 2026, we will also have the co-op mode for Shadows and more updates. There will be less, but I still think it will be a fun time. Check out the video that I did on Shadows in 2026 by clicking on the screen. I will speak to you very soon. Subscribe to this channel for way more in-depth Assassin's Creed videos, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.